So sometimes what knocks us down, what makes us feel like we're beat down and we lost and we stand no chance, is the one thing that's going to give us strength. And you know what a sunflower does? It turns its face to the sun. It follows the sun all day long. And so maybe you feel knocked down, beat down, like you want to give up and quit, like it's all over. But I promise you, if you keep your face fixed upon Jesus, he will reinvigorate you. He'll breathe back life into you. And if you don't lose locking gaze with him, he will strengthen you. And believe it or not, you might be stronger than you were on the other side. You may be standing up a little bit taller because all of a sudden, I know that in the middle of adversity, when everything feels like it's crashing down around me, if I can keep my gaze upon the Lord, he will strengthen me. This is sermon number 4 in 4 days. I did Friday night, Saturday morning Q&A, Saturday evening, Sunday morning, or Sunday afternoon, and now here, my wife goes, "Why didn't you have somebody preach for you on Monday night?" I said, "Because I'm in Mark of a Disciple part 5. I can't have somebody preach part 5. They don't know what part 5 is." No. So we've been in a series, Mark of a Disciple. The Lord told me to do expository preaching, which is going line by line in the chapter of the Bible. I started in Luke 9. I did jump around a little bit in the Gospels because I like certain authors' language, and some of them go into a little bit more detail. But tonight we will stay in Luke. We're going to be in Luke chapter 9, starting in verse 20, and we're gonna roll down. We ended off last week with called up on the water. It was Jesus walked on the water. He called Peter out onto the water. If you didn't see it, we do have YouTube, so you can go back and watch the series if you want. I'm working on getting that organized and looking nice, so we can go back and review teachings if you like. But tonight we're going to read Luke 9 and 20. So the theme through all of this series so far has been the mark of a disciple is complete and immediate obedience. But I felt like the Lord had me add radical to it last week because it's pretty radical for somebody to step out of a boat and walk on water. I think that that's a relatively radical thing to do. And so when Jesus said, "Come to me," Peter stepped out in faith. So now it's the mark of a disciple is radical, complete, and immediate obedience. So Luke 9, starting in verse 20, he, Jesus, said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Peter answered and said, "The Christ of God." And he strictly warned and commanded them to tell this to no one, saying, "The Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected by the elders and the chief priests and the scribes and be killed and be raised the third day." All right. So they just got the revelation that Jesus is the Christ, that he's the Son of God. How many of us could honestly keep that secret? Like, some of us have to do a play-by-play with everything we do. Like, I'm glad we got past the whole, like, plate of food at every restaurant that we go to, coffee at every shop that we stop at. Like, most of us have gotten past that part, but I know that we really want to, share just about every aspect of our lives, especially now, like, that social media is kind of taking over everything. But can you imagine receiving this revelation from God and being told not to say anything? Luke 9:23 says, "Then he said to them all, if anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross daily, and follow me." Some of us are like tracking with this, right? We're like, okay, I think that if he asked me to, walk out on the water, I might try it. I think that if he asked me to lay hands on the sick, that I would give it a shot. If he asked me to give up my drug addiction, then I would take up my cross and follow him. Hey, maybe I'd even get beaten and flogged and thrown in prison. But the keep a secret thing, Jesus, I'm sorry, I'm out. Like some of us really have a problem with gossip. I think that there's kind of an issue. Why is there a desire? Why is that when somebody tells you a secret, like, "Hey, I got to tell you this, but don't tell anybody"? Immediately our flesh is like, "Oh, this is going to be so good. Who can I tell that won't say anything to anybody?" Like, we have to tell someone, right? Like, there's that thing inside of us. Why is that? Is that because we need to be popular? Is that because, like, our life is so dull that we have to talk about other people's lives? Like, why can't we be entrusted with things, secrets, friend secrets, family secrets, things that people ask us not to say? Why do we have such an issue with sharing it? Well, if man can't trust you with their secrets, what makes you think God will trust you with his? Number 2, a true disciple is trusted with the secrets of God. How do we talk about, we hear it all the time, like, when you're going through a hard time, you can trust God, right? Like, I don't understand why this is going on. Well, trust God, you know? Like, if we could just trust God, we would have no issues. It would just be like God's timing is perfect, so I'm just going to trust you, Lord. We talk about trusting God all the time, but how often do we talk about how crazy, like this is blowing my mind. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like this is crazy to me. God trusts you. He trusts you. He trusted his creation. He trusted the earth to man. Like, what has he trusted you with? Has he trusted you with the girl? Has he trusted you with the wife? Some of us? Has he trusted you with kids? What has God entrusted you with? With a job? Some of us want to start our own business, but we can't even work for somebody else. Some of us want a house, but we can't even clean our room. Some of us want the new car, but our other car's falling apart. Some of us want a wife, but we can't even respect our mother. So it's just like there's so many things that God has given us that he's entrusted us with that we will give an account for how we stewarded it. Luke 16, it's a few chapters up. In verse 11, or 10 and 11, it says, whoever can be trusted with the very little can also be trusted with much. But whoever is dishonest with the very little will be dishonest with much. It's verse 11. And if you are untrustworthy about worldly wealth, who will trust you with the true riches of heaven? So he's talking about money here and goes on into money. But worldly wealth is significant because it represents status. It represents power, it represents influence in this life, and it allows us to do whatever we want whenever we want financially. Like if you have wealth, you don't have to worry about, do I got enough money in my bank account? Like you feel like you want to go buy a boat or go on a yacht or go on whatever you want to do, you just do it. And so if God can't trust you with what he's given you already, and we're asking him for more, he's saying be faithful in the little things. Why is it hard to keep secrets and give money? I don't know. It's tough. You start talking about money in a congregation, you start talking about money in front of people, they get all uncomfortable. It's like they're real secretive with their money, but they're real loud with everybody else's business. It's weird, right? And if they're acting like they have a lot of money and they're trying to flaunt stuff, they're probably broke because they're trying to act like they're something that they're not. Most rich people I know don't act like they're rich. When they're driving around in the big trucks and the big cars and all that stuff, they're usually very much in debt, and they're trying to pretend that there's something that they're not. There's a weightiness to this, though. You know, like God desires to trust us with more. The question is can he? Can he trust you with more? But I believe the Lord is looking for people right now, in this moment, in this hour, that he can trust with the true riches of heaven. And I'm not talking about money, although I think that's coming. But I think that wealth transfer that everybody's talking about, well, if you haven't heard about it, just listen to YouTube for a little bit longer than 5 minutes, and you'll hear about people talking about a wealth transfer that's coming. I think that will happen. I think it's already happening. It just may not look the way that we think it will. I think that there is a huge, what we would call revival, as we label it, that's going to take place. But I don't think it's going to stop. I think God's looking for people that are going to carry his presence appropriately. That we're going to be like this almost, what did he say? Lou Engle said it's going to be a generation of nameless and faceless preachers. And then I added to it, known for the presence that they carry and the name they proclaim. So that it's going to be all about Jesus. That this move is the Lord. And if big names are going away, like God's not looking for another man of power for the hour. He's not in need of another Billy Graham. He's in the need of the bride of Christ, rising up in this trustworthy place so that he can pour out his glory. Listen, in the last days, the beast, the Antichrist, is going to have signs and wonders too. He's going to deceive a whole bunch of people. But God is bigger. He's stronger. His spirit knows. He's looking for the bride of Christ. He's looking for disciples, those marked, being able to be trustworthy, that landing strip for his glory, his presence in this move that I believe is already underway because he's preparing our hearts for it. You feel there's an expectation in your spirit? Regardless of what's going on in the world, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And there's darkness, and there's this, and there's that. But there's an expectation that I have in my heart. That's the only reason I'm able to preach 4 days in a row like this, because I feel like this needs to be said right now. And the Lord is calling me. I just want to be obedient with what he's asking me to do. So he's saying, I'm giving you this. Can I trust you with it? And I'm saying, here you go, Lord. I'm going to give it. And he's asking you to do the same thing. It may not be in a microphone in front of a bunch of people, but it may be at the red light. It may be at the grocery store. It may be when you're getting gas. It may be your last $10 to a homeless person. You're like, well, they're just probably going to go drink or get high with it. Why do I have to give them my money? He didn't ask you. Why? He just asked you to do it. And I promise you, when you start trusting God with your money, and I'm not telling you to sow into DCYA. That's not that message. I'm saying if you trust him with your money in every area, you will never be in lack. He will not leave his children begging for bread. Notice I'm doing this after the offering. I'm not trying to get you to give right now. I'm trying to get us to get it, to enter into this kingdom mindset, to understand that kingdom currency, the true riches of heaven, is not based on our fiat US dollar money or your cryptocurrency. Gold and silver belong to the God. That's probably not a bad storage of wealth. It's proved itself over time, but I'm also not here to promote gold. I'm here to deliver the message and to show you the kingdom so that you can enter into, hopefully, beyond where I am. That's the goal. Past me. Go further than I've ever gone. There's no suppression here. Jesus is trying to get them ready because he's saying, he just told them, I'm going to die. Like, if Pastor Greg was sitting next to me and he's like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to die. So they're going to kill me. The scribes and the Pharisees, the religious teachers, the pastors in the region, the other people are kind of mad at me and they're going to kill me. Like, I'd be like, are you sure, like, we can't get, like, Tito or, Austin, some of these ex-military guys? Like, do you want me to bump up security a little bit on Sundays just to make sure that you don't think the disciples are thinking this kind of stuff? And Jesus is saying, he goes on, Luke 9, 24, 25, if you hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake, you will save it. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world, but you yourself lost or destroyed? And we memorize this based on the other scripture where it says, what is good is it for a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? But I really like what Luke says here, the language that he used. He doesn't just record gain the whole world and lose your soul, which I think is still referenced with the destroyed part, because do not fear man who can destroy your body, but fear God who can destroy both body and soul in hell. So I think he covers that, but he actually says that you can lose yourself in the process. You can lose yourself in the process of pursuing the things of this world. Like if you're pursuing worldly wealth apart from God, that you're not surrendered and submitted to him, you'll step on anybody you need to get there. You'll find yourself in certain rooms around certain people that'll pressure you to do things you never dreamed you would do. It goes completely against your morals, but all of a sudden there's a couple extra zeros at the end of the offer. And you start to wonder. And then we sell our souls, and people say, you sold your soul to the devil. Yeah, you cannot serve both God and mammon. He goes on to talk about that. What he's saying is that there's something significant. And what is Jesus saying here? He's saying, if you lose your life, you will gain it. If you try to save your life, you will lose it. Like, this is kind of confusing, but what is he saying? He's saying, I've tapped into something greater, and I'm inviting you to do the same. If you're trying to hang so tightly to this life, you will miss the true purpose of it. If we're trying to figure out every step along the way, if we're trying to manipulate other people and try to get God to co-sign our desires, our plans, and our ways, we'll miss the point of being here. You'll wake up 75, maybe with some money in the bank, a nice car in the driveway, a wife that can't stand you, kids that won't talk to you anymore, and you haven't led anybody to Jesus. You haven't even told anybody. You're like a secret agent Christian who hid in the boardroom and while everybody else drank and smoked cigars. And you know what I'm saying? Like, what good is it if a man gains the world but loses himself or is destroyed in the process? This is what Jesus is saying. Jesus knew that he had to suffer. Everybody's focused on, well, so far I've been focused on the kill him part, right? Like, he's going to die. But his assignment, he says, that he'll be raised again on the third day. We missed that part. The part is that he's going to rise again. Jesus knew that he had to suffer this life, but he also knew that there was a greater reward, us. He knew he would suffer. He knew he came to be the suffering servant. He knew that he would be the lamb that would be slain before the foundations of the earth. Jesus knew why he came, and he still came. Why did he come? To endure that. Why would you leave the throne? Why would you leave heaven and majesty and angels and brilliance and beauty and all that? Why? Us. And do you think he loved the disciples that he was with? He absolutely loved the disciples that he was with. John, his beloved, the one in whom Jesus loved, he loved them dearly. But he also had all of us in his heart. He knew that if he finished the race, then he would lead many sons to glory. That it wasn't just about the 12 or the 70 that he calls in the next chapter. It was about as many who were far off that would believe in him and be saved. It's for you. He saw you. You were in his heart. He wanted you for eternity. He didn't want to settle for the temporary relationship that often we neglect Jesus for. I want to feel this now. I want her now. I want him now. But this is what he's talking about, where he says, if you want to follow me, hate your mother and father. That's not what he really means. He's not, because it says, do not disrespect, honor your mother and father. So hating them would obviously not being honoring them. He's saying that there's things in this world that we make that are important. But there's nothing more important than doing what God asks us to do. Okay? And he wants to trust us with truth. So, number 3, a true disciple loves difficult people. All right? Have you ever found yourself judging motives of others? How do you treat people when you know they don't like you? Maybe you know someone who has ill intent or doesn't like you. What do? You start throwing shade? Like, think about it. Like, Jesus told them who is going to kill him. So you got the elders, you got the scribes, you got the chief priests. Like, you start looking at them like, come on, man, what are you up to? Like, can you imagine walking in all these different villages? You walk through all these different towns. You're walking through Israel, and you got the Pharisees coming at you, and they're like, they're challenging Jesus. They're like giving you a hard time, and then you know they don't like you. This group doesn't like me. That for sure, that chief priest, he does not like us, guys. It's like, for sure, hey, don't mess with Aaron. He does not like us. Like, stay away from him. But then you start to wonder, like, you get a little paranoid, like, well, he doesn't like me, and that other one over there doesn't like me. Maybe they all don't like us. They're all against us, all of them. They're all totally against us. Like, we should probably destroy all of them, right? I mean, even the disciples said it for a minute. Like, should we just call down fire on them and just destroy them? Let's consume them. Like Elijah did that, right? Let's just wipe them out. Do you know what he's trying to do? Father, Jesus said this. He said with the same, Father, give them the same revelation you gave us about your son. This is the prayer. Instead of throwing shade at them, instead of being paranoid, instead of being afraid, as a disciple, and we know Jesus, our prayer should be, give them the same revelation about Jesus that you gave us. Because if they knew who they were and they knew who he was, then they would not be acting that way. The problem is they missed their day of visitation. Luke 9:26 says, if anyone is ashamed of me, Jesus, and my message, the Son of Man will be ashamed of that person when he returns in his glory in the glory of the Father and his holy angels. All right, show of hands. How many of you people shared the gospel this week with somebody? That's pretty good. That's more than I expected. That's awesome, okay? Isn't it weird how we've been given permission now? We're encouraged to share Jesus. But we don't do it. How come when he told them not to do it, or when he tells us not to do something, we really want to do it? But then when he says, go do this, and here, I'll accompany it with signs and wonders, and knees will get healed, and blind eyes will open, and deaf ears will hear, we're just like, couch is pretty comfortable. Another season of whatever you're watching on Netflix. Like, I'm kind of busy right now. I have this thing that I have to do. I'm building a kingdom unto myself. Like, I got stuff to do, And I just want you to know my heart is I want to pray for more people when I grab them close and I'm leading them to the Lord, that their hair still smells a little bit like weed. Like, I'm trying to pray for some people that when they come up to the altar, they're like maybe in the world that they shouldn't be in relationships, strung out, the lost, those people who don't know him yet. And I'm cool with everybody being here. Like, I like that you're here. I want you to be taught. I want you to get in fellowship and Christian fellowship and worship Jesus together, and there's power in that. But we got to do the work of the evangelist. And it's not because I'm trying to fill this place. That is not my goal. It's never been my heart, and everybody who's been with me for any amount of time knows that that's not my heart. My heart is to equip you to go out and to release the gospel, to release the glory of God to all of creation, to raise you up, and then send you. And you don't have to wait to go into a occupational ministry where you're a worship leader or you're a preacher or a pastor. Like, go and do it now. Go radiate the glory of God now. He sent you now. And if nobody told you, I'm sending you right now. Go pray for people, heal the sick, raise the dead, cast out demons. Amen. Could I get somebody to come to keys? Is Erica, please? Number 4, true disciples watch their mouth. I paused on purpose. I didn't know if I wanted to say it out loud or not. It's like, should I watch my mouth right now, Lord, or should I say number 4? Okay? True disciples watch their mouth. because they understand that life and death is in the power of the tongue, that this little rudder steers a big ship, that blessing and cursing, it's not what goes into the belly of a man that defiles him, but what comes out of their mouth. Like there's things that are in us that shouldn't be there, that God needs to get rid of, but if we meditated on it long enough, and we believe it long enough, or we entertain it long enough, eventually it's going to come out of our mouth. Like if you let the devil get in here and then into your heart, eventually it's coming out of your mouth. You're going to say it. You got to kill that thing. He says, follow me, crucify it. Crucify that thought, that ill motive, that lust, whatever it is, you got to kill that thing by the power of the Spirit, okay? Pay attention to what you're saying and what you're meditating on. From that day forward, the disciples had to walk with Jesus, knowing that one day soon he would die. They had to walk the streets in Israel, being challenged by the Pharisees often, not knowing if they were all against them or just the elders, scribes, or the priests that had spoken up. They had to overcome the paranoia and the barrage of the enemy's voice and continue to do what the Lord had asked of them. You might not always be in the most comfortable environment, but keep doing what God asked you to do, even when it's hard. Just because it gets hard doesn't mean you need to retreat. Just because things are difficult and not looking like the way you want them, or people are against you, or they're talking bad about you, or they're backstabbing you, or backbiting you, or whatever they're doing, you don't have to leave. That's the devil. Our fight is not against flesh and blood. Okay? If you're wrong, admit it. Get over yourself and say you're sorry. But if you are clean, your slate is clean, your hands are clean, the blood is on their hands, let them to continue to do what they're going to do. Do not leave. God has positioned you there. Stand, doing all else, yet stand. Stand there. Love them. Preach the gospel. Pray for the sick. Just keep doing what you're doing. Radiate the kingdom in that environment. You might not always be in the most comfortable environment, but keep doing what God has asked you to do, even when it's hard. Okay? Is Erica, is she around or did she go? Did anybody have keys? You guys know where she at? Awesome. Here they come. I just needed the keys. My brother-in-law planted sunflowers, okay? They live up in Maine. My wife's from Maine. And so they planted sunflowers for each one of the immediate family members. So I have a little sunflower, Kristen, Penelope, my twin nephew and niece, and the older nephew, their parents. I think there's like 10 sunflowers in the backyard. So I was like, at first, I was kind of like, where's my sunflower? You know, like, how come I'm not in the sunflower competition? So the goal is planting sunflowers behind the house, and then whoever gets the tallest sunflower wins competition, okay? So, like, it's been going for a little while now since spring happened in Maine. They planted them. But a few weeks ago, like, is anybody else in a family chat? Huh? Dude, I had to turn the notifications off. It's like nonstop with this family chat. I'm like, so I always have a red dot on my phone. But, like, I look at it, and my wife's like, so something killed my sunflower. I'm like, what do you mean something killed your sunflower? Well, sometime overnight, something happened to Kristen's sunflower. It was like knocked down. I don't know if it was an animal. Some people think it was the hose when they were watering the other ones. I don't know. Either way, sunflower on the ground, it's over, right? So Kristen's not going to win, or so we thought. Well, last week, I get another picture in the group chat. Now, mind you, my notifications are off. I might have missed some stuff in here, but this is the way I understand the story, okay? So we're talking days and like updates with sunflower pictures. My wife's sunflower is the biggest sunflower, the tallest sunflower. And so sometimes what knocks us down, what makes us feel like we're beat down and we lost and we stand no chance, is the one thing that's going to give us strength. And you know what a sunflower does? It turns its face to the sun. It follows the sun all day long. And so maybe you feel knocked down, beat down, like you want to give up and quit, like it's all over. But I promise you, if you keep your face fixed upon Jesus, he will reinvigorate you. He'll breathe back life into you. And if you don't lose locking gaze with him, he will strengthen you. And believe it or not, you might be stronger than you were on the other side. You may be standing up a little bit taller because all of a sudden, I know that in the middle of adversity, when everything feels like it's crashing down around me, if I can keep my gaze upon the Lord, he will strengthen me. So I don't know what you're going through tonight. I don't know what's happening in you, but I'm just saying, if God's got you somewhere, stay there until he moves you. If God's giving you the true riches of heaven, if he's pouring out his secrets to you, keep them until he says to release them. Be faithful with what he's given us, what he's placed in our hands, and don't give up. It's a summer of miracles. I believe he's going to do so many through your life. Everybody stand up on your feet with me. If you're in the room tonight, you know you need to turn to Jesus. Maybe you're having issues. Maybe you're one of those ones that are talking about other people. You got a problem with gossip. Or maybe others are talking about you. The environment you are in maybe is unhealthy for your growth. Jesus is the answer. Jesus is the one you can share those grievances to and with. Listen, if somebody is willing to talk to you about somebody else, they'll probably talk about you with somebody else. And just because you walk in the room and everybody stops talking doesn't mean they're talking about you. Maybe you've got to this place now where they know you're a no-fly zone for gossip, and they were talking about somebody else, and just your presence walking into the room makes them demons scatter. Because gossip is witchcraft. We're called to pray for our enemies. Love those who persecute you, not talk about them. Gang up, gangs on them. Try to take them out. That's the devil. You're playing in the wrong arena. The enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but God has come to give us life and life more abundant. And that sunflower on the ground didn't start talking trash to the other ones. Hey, why don't you get down over here? Why don't you come down over here with me? Hey, do you see him over there on the ground? Look at that loser, man. Now all of a sudden that sunflower, I don't know, the sunflower match is there. But what I'm saying is don't get caught in the witchcraft circle of gossip. And don't let somebody else talking bad about you suck you into that trap till you go start talking about them. Pray for them. Pray for them. Watch the atmosphere shift. We are atmosphere architects. As disciples of Jesus, we are called to shift culture, change atmospheres. If I don't like the way the room feels right now, I don't have to stand for it. I also don't have to leave right away. I can pray that God changes everything in a moment, in an instant. Sometimes I have to do it right here. God, pour out your glory in this room, God. Let us not go through the motions of worship, God. Let us not go through the motions of another service, Lord. Just because we did this last week, and we'll probably do it again if you tarry, God, let me never take one service for granted. Pour out your glory. Save one, draw one, heal one. It's all for you, Jesus. Make that your prayer at work. I know that this is a hard day, and the boss is on my case. He's giving me a hard time. How come he's giving me more work than he gives his son? His son's over there sitting in the air-conditioned office. This isn't fair. Jesus, bless every work of my hands. I'm going to do it unto you, Lord. I'm going to do it unto you, Lord, like Joseph in the pit. I'm going to do it unto you, Lord, like in slavery. I'm going to do it unto you, God. And one day, either this side of eternity or the next, I will get my reward. Maybe God is trusting you with secrets and wants you to find out and wants to find out if you're trustworthy. Could I get the prayer team set apart? Jesse, Abby, Carol, David, you can come too if you want. Katie, you can come. It's just if any of that resonated with you, just I've been gossiping, or people are talking about me, or I've been seeking my own agenda and I haven't been listening to what God wants me to do. Whatever it is tonight, I want you just to come and receive prayer. I trust everybody on this altar right now that if you were to tell them something, well, y'all better have some sober spirit time right now. That if somebody were to tell you something, loose lips sink ships. And we want this altar to be a place of confiding. The Bible says confess your sins one to another so they can bring healing. Are you that place where somebody can come and tell you, hey, I've been struggling with this. Hey, I'm having a hard time with this. Can you be that one that he can trust with his other children's secrets? To where you can lock arm in arm and love them and pray for them and see them through? Or are you going to be over there like, hey man, David's on drugs and Debbie's got demons, and you're just going to start talking about all this? I mean, that's not right, man. This needs to be a safe place. And that's why I'm not quick to just put anybody up on the altar. Maybe you have a heart to pray for other people. I'd love to talk to you a little bit, kind of walk you through that thing. But this needs to be a place where it's God, you and the Lord. And so I don't know if you got anything you need prayer for. I want to just invite you to come now. You can just come. I'm trying to keep men with men and ladies with ladies. And so if you're a lady, you want to come receive prayer, there's a couple ladies here. And for guys, it's just anything at all. If you guys want to come now.